Good morning, aka Ron G, your consult from the Net Worth Nation, the number one nation for the nation, to the nation, by the nation. And I want to talk to you guys today a little bit about something that's been on my mind for obvious reasons. We're riding down the very first quarter of the year. Wow, today is March the 3rd, Sunday, March 3rd. Wow, where does it all go? I really want to get into a couple of things here before we get started. I want to sign a disclaimer, and what I'm saying, I'm in no way telling anybody that I am a expert in taxes or tax consultants, but I do know a little something, right? And so I'm going to share a little bit with you about it. And one of the reasons why I really want to make it very clear to you where we are today and our thinking, because we're coming up on the first quarter, and everybody knows this is that time of the year. And maybe not so much for the nation, but it is that time of year where most people are very excited about getting back a tax return. And of course, we know that this is the time of year that everyone begins to market to us, from car salesmen, furniture sales, you name it, windows, doors, whatever, tennis shoes, you name it, whatever it is, they're coming after us with reckless abandon to get that, that little bit of money that we work so hard for throughout the year, to come and just swoop it away and take it. Now, why am I making emphasis on this? Because in Net Worth Nation land, we look at this as an opportunity to take a piece of money and boost a lot of the things that we talk about on this channel. Like, for example, everyone's like, oh man, I love your annuities, and man, that's great. Oh man, I wish I had $5,000, you know what I mean? Or I wish I had $10,000 so I can start this annuity. I love the fact that I can pay myself a pension and create a pension so that eventually one day, I'll be able to retire and have two pensions. Or if I really want to, every year I can create a pension, right? For the next 5 years with my tax return income, right? Or there's things you want to do, like to get credits in shape, really boost your credit or boost business credit. So a lot of the Net Worth Nation mindsets around this time of year are excited, because now we're finally getting a large sum of money that now we can do the things that we've been trying to do, things we've learned on this network. But here's the thing, it's going to be a very competitive thing, because what happens is that it takes a very disciplined mindset to take something, from a large sum and really do something that's really going to make magic for you. But I just wanted to say that, it frustrates me too, that, and like I said, in no way, shape, or form am I sitting here saying I'm a tax expert, but there are certain things that I know. Like, for example, that the tax system was predicated on, agriculture, businesses, companies that came to this country, made money, and what we had was the United States Treasurer, which was a physical person that would come out and assess your businesses, right? They would come out and physically assess what you were making and what you were producing and what you were building and, the things you were doing. And then at the end of the year, they would wait and see what kind of profit that you would have. And then the government would get their cut, because that's what it was all about. The government was providing you the ways and the means for you to go out there and make this business magic. And so that is how the original tax system was predicated. And I don't have a problem with that, right? You get a profit or something like that, yeah, you're doing really well, hey man, kick back to your government. What I have an issue with, and what I take exception to, is that you're looking at people like us with fair wages, right? Meaning that you perform a service to an owner of, like, one of those companies that we just talked about in that other tax scenario, and you perform a service in a wage that you get, and then you're given something for your wage, right? Fair wage. You work, you perform service, and you got a fair wage. So I don't have a problem with that, and I think that's realistic. But when you tax a fair wage the same way you tax a profit from a business, I struggle with that. I struggle with that. And I'm asking Net Worth Nation, not so much on the heels of Terrence Howard. I get what he's saying. I understand his point in a sense. He's going to a whole nother level of descendants of slaves should not pay taxes and things like that. And I see what his issue is, and I understand it. But that's not what I'm saying here. What I'm saying here is that in the sense of a profit margin. So for example, there's a lot of you guys on my network that are in sales, and a lot of you guys do partake, sit down at the table, and you do get sales bonuses for things that you do above and beyond your normal job function. And for that, I agree. There should be a tax, because that is a profit. That is an extra above and beyond. But to tax what's equally there, service for pay, it just doesn't make sense. So I'm just going to leave that there. I'm not going to dig too deep. You guys can do the research on the tax history and see what I'm talking about and how this thing evolved to what it is today. But with that being said, that means we have to be even more determined not to take the money and just smoke it into thin air. And what do I mean by smoking? Every dollar you spend in 2024, in my opinion, and this is a Network Nation concept, should bring you back 2 or 3. That's it. And if it's not bringing you back 2 or 3, it should bring you back at least 50 cents or a quarter. And everything that goes out, right, has to have something to come back. Now, as far as your giving and things like that, and your donations, you know what comes back from there. A lot of love, a lot of good feeling, a lot of good vibe, and a lot of good harmony. It comes back from that. And that's not what I'm talking about here. What I'm talking about is when you sit down at the dinner table and you're done paying all your expenses, everything from there that you spend should only be spent with the ideology that something is coming back 1, 2, 3 times over. That's it. I don't care if it's the smallest return or the biggest. Doesn't make a difference here on the Network Nation channel. All right. So what am I saying, guys? Stay away from the car dealerships. Stay away from the furniture shops. Stay away from the grills. Stay away from all the things that are sitting there and designed to take that hard-earned money out of your pocket by the end of the first quarter. The end of the first quarter is very, very important for Network Nation. This is where you get the block of money, and now you're able to jumpstart that key vehicle for your retirement and for other things, for your investments. This is the time to be very, very strategic. Ron G, aka Network Nation, the #1 nation, your consult.